Week 2, and it's already started. How about them Cowboys?
Oh.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is the Sports Cave. Your co-host Ryback, co-host Zach. Zach, I couldn't
No, that had
couldn't resist.
That had to be done. Bob, Steve, how we doing, gentlemen? Bob.
Wait, Dad is here?
Yeah, Bob, you're gonna have some questions to be answered today, sir. I mean, do we just get right into it, Robbie? No, do we just dive right into it, or should we do a little introduction?
We should do a little introduction as well as some communicating with my father here, because we have talked. Oh, right now, I can hear. I don't know if you could. We talked about this, I think, like a week or two ago, and we think that it's best for the viewers, it's best for us to get off of doing Mondays. And the reason why is sometimes our shows run long, which interferes not only us, but you guys as well. That's number one. Number two, I want to be able to enjoy Mondays now, dude. I don't enjoy Mondays anymore. Like, it's not that I don't like doing the show, but I feel
God damn.
I feel rushed between doing the show, between editing, getting stuff ready for work, and then barely catching football before I go to bed. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure before we make a set date that we talk to Dad here, because you do your show on Tuesday. So we just want to see what your thoughts would be on swapping Mondays and Tuesdays. Number one. Number two, Zach has your little course for electrical, correct?
I am attempting to better myself via controls, because it seems like I'm going to be a control fella.
All right, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. You want to do Tuesday?
There we go, Bob. Perfect. That's nice and easy for us, right? Look at that. So we're not going to start this next week, though, Bob. We're going to start this.
We're going to wait for my grandparents to leave, his parents to leave, and then we're going to start the new schedule. Then once I get a date, we'll make an announcement on our social media sites. And two reasons. One, because of football. And two, I got begged to go play softball down in another town like 40 minutes away. But because my friends did it for years, it's only right that I do it too. So I agreed to it.
There we go. And now it's all been settled. So I think it's going to be Tuesdays. And then until that course ends, because that course I'm doing, I believe, is on Thursday nights, it's going to be Tuesdays and Saturday mornings. Mr. Marcuzio.
I just realized Marcus streams on Tuesdays too.
Well, that's going to be some competition right there.
I know. It just... I hope Marcus doesn't get mad. Let's see what happens. But you know what I'm going to do, Zach? He's trying to go
to the weekends. Okay.
Perfect. So we're all making plans here.
God, this is beautiful. Look at this. We're meshing together, folks.
I'm going to make a phone call live in the Sports Cave to see Francis' reaction to this monumental news. Because I'm sure
he's going to say, and while you're doing that phone call, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys is right. Here we go.
I tell you one thing. Oh.
Francis, you're live in the podcast, and I wanted to break the news to you.
Oh, boy.
We are officially moving to Tuesday, so my Mondays are free for your softball team.
Let's fucking go.
You see that, Zachary? He is hyped.
Let's go. The Leafs suck.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, get this fucking asshole out of here.
I hung up on him. Rude.
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying this, not even just the Cowboys. I feel bad. If you were a person that did any sort of betting on football this weekend, I feel horrible for you, because there's legitimately absolutely no chance you made any money unless you made, at the time, what would have been some of the dumbest picks of all time. For instance, pardon?
I made money.
Okay, I'm just saying a lot of upsets. San Francisco gets upset. The Niners get upset. The Cowboys get upset. The Lions get upset. It was a crazy weekend that I just did not have in my bingo card. We're going to recap all the week 2 football here. We got a Monday night preview. The UFC Sphere card happened. We have the greatest hockey player of all time, Sidney Crosby, signing a contract with the Penguins. But let's start off with some football here, Robbie. And we both agreed it's going to have to be the Cowboys to start it off. Yeah, TJ, congratulations to TJ, beating me in fantasy baseball.
What are your thoughts
That's
on
fucking-
in fantasy baseball? What are your thoughts?
Well, he's beating me now in 2 finals this year. So you know what, TJ? Can you give me a fucking break is what I'm going to say to him.
I think you should start calling him daddy.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He is your daddy. He's taking you down, and
That you always got to gay it up. You know that?
I don't think I'm making it gay. I think it's just in fact the matter of the truth.
You should probably call him daddy.
I don't know how you got to take your frustrations out of me. It was just,
Well, you know it's not fucking gay. Watching the New Orleans Saints stomp all over the Dallas Cowgirls. I mean, Robbie, we were talking about an absolute slashing performance here. Are the Saints good? Or is that just a really bad...
so confused with the NFC South because going into
Yeah.
the season, we were so convinced. First of all, before we continue further on, there is something that we have to acknowledge here, and that is, let me just make sure that I have everything correlated correct here, and I now do. And Zachary, it's time to talk some NFL.
Oh, yes. Cheers, folks, on this fine Monday night.
Oh, I also have a monumental breaking news as pertains to my personal self, Zachary.
What is this?
And I'm going to go and find the applause here because I think I deserve an applause. Zachary, I stepped on the scale today. We started our way at 252 pounds. For the first time since 2020, when I was very, very sick from COVID-19, I weighed in at 209 pounds. I am now in the 200s.
Okay, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
That's a lot of weight loss there, Robert. Keep it keep
The
on
journey
pumping.
is not easy, but we're putting on a couple pounds today because,
Yeah, I mean, fucking right.
cheers.
Bing bang. So let's get into this here, Robbie. Starting off our first game that we are going to talk about, and of course, they don't have the score loaded up here.
I
so let me
I
just...
have it. The first game we're going to go over was Thursday Night Football, as I believe I took the Bills with my 1 point play at plus 2.5, and Zachary, they covered that spread by a wide margin. They ended up winning this game by 21. Could you tell me your thoughts on why you had the Dolphins beating the Bills heading into Thursday Night Football?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I just thought the Bills, I'm like, yeah, they looked good in the first game. I thought Josh Allen, when he hurt his hand, maybe that was going to kind of throw him off a little bit. And if we're going to be honest, Josh Allen really didn't even play that good.
No. James Cook all day.
James Cook was just absolutely on fire. I mean, just absolutely on fire. He had the second best running back performance in last week, because once we get into that Saints and Cowboys game later, I mean, excuse me, Alvin Kamara would just put the team on his back.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you, Robbie. Obviously, what happened with Tua, very scary. If you guys live under a rock and didn't see what happened, he got knocked out cold again. And I know that I've made jokes about this in the past, but this is actually kind of getting sad now at this point. I mean, this guy's got to fucking think about his family and his kids now. I mean, he first of all, the play that knocked him out wasn't even really it's a football play. That happens 100 times a game where people lead in with their head like that to you. And he's come out now and said that he has no ambition to retire. He's going to be staying, and he wants to keep playing and play this out. And if I'm a team doctor, like, I don't even know how you can clear this guy to come back and play football. I mean, clearly his head is not right. The guy can't take a fucking hit, Robbie. That little fucking hit, and he's going to get knocked out and fucking do the finger thing again.
Let me tell you something, dude. You watch hockey. How many times are these guys getting freaking concussions from that gruesome sport? I'll give you another example. Jordan Reed, the tight end. I don't know if you know about Jordan Reed, Zachary. He's pretty good tight end for the Washington Redskins at the time. Multiple concussions. I think he reached double digits. I think the reason why people go into this and say he has to retire, because the first thing they think of is CTE. The second you get one concussion, oh my God, he's going to get CTE. Here's the fact of the matter at the end of the day. Multiple factors. Here's the first thing. First and foremost, and this is for everybody. You're not a doctor. You You could sit there and say,
neither are you. We should also point this out. Neither are you.
Yeah, it includes me. We could sit out here and say it's easy for us to just be out there and be like, well, after me, I made my millions of dollars, I retired. But it's like some things. One, it's more than just the money, and two, the love of the sport. It's hard to let go of something that you dreamed of until they finally say it's time to get taken away from you. Now, I'll give you another example. I'm sure you're probably going to give me shit for this, but it's okay. Look at the WWE. Some of the top wrestlers starting in the early 2010s, starting with Edge, multiple neck injuries. He was told by doctors, you can't wrestle anymore. You need to retire. It took 8 or 9 years later. He's wrestling again. Daniel Bryan had multiple concussions. And after a few years, he was allowed to wrestle again. I get what everybody's saying because he's not a WWE superstar. He's an NFL player. They don't have longevity like WWE superstars do because it's scripted and all that shit. I get it. But it's not, they say, think of your future and your family. I mean, these guys are getting healthier and better. We have the best science in the world as pertains to our own health. But
3 major concussions in a calendar year, or maybe a year and a bit. I mean, what
happened last year.
You're gonna tell me that's not maybe permanent damage being done now?
I think a lot of people look at what happened last year and the way the Dolphins completely 1000% mishandled that situation goes into effect on how, it's possibly easy for him to get a concussion. That was a major mistake. He gets arguably concussed on Sunday. They play on Thursday, and he definitely gets concussed then. Tua's already come out and said he's not going to retire. I think Tua will be absolutely smart about this and understand that his safety and health matters the most 100%. I just don't like this whole narrative that we think that automatically these guys are going to turn out to be some of the most horrible human beings that have come out with the game of football, multiple concussions. Players like Aaron Hernandez, people like Richie Incognito.
I know, but there are those stories because it does happen.
There's also guys that have had multiple concussions that don't have stories like it's like
I agree with you.
Like the few stick out the dozens.
I know, but is it worth the gamble to become a fucking Antonio Brown or a fucking Chris Benoit or a fucking Aaron Hernandez? Or I mean, not to say that Antonio Brown's on their level, but
that's up to Tua. The fact of the matter is, that's up to Tua. Everybody's different. We're all different in our own unique ways. Some of us have stronger bones. Some of us don't have stronger bones. Some of us don't get concussed. Some of us do get concussed. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we say. It matters what Tua and his family think is best at the end of the day. And I think the way Mike McDaniels handled that whole situation was completely professional.
Yeah, Steve has multiple concussions. You want Tua to end up like Steve? Ha! Bang bang, Steve. Just kidding.
Wow.
But
I want to see Mike McDaniel's presser about Tua because it's a good listen, and he handled that very, very well. And you could tell he was taking his time with how he's going to answer. It was
well. While you're searching that up here, I will say if Tua, when he does come back, that guy needs about 6 months of training on how to slide.
Yeah, you can't be diving head first.
Well, you already had the first down, too.
But that's the name just Tua. That's multiple quarterbacks. There's a reason why Russell Wilson was continuously going to spring training was to practice his sliding techniques for football.
Don't do it, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find Mike McDaniel's thing here.
Well, I can kind of quote what he said a little bit. Are you talking about like what he was when he's talking about like what he was saying to Tua on the sideline? I mean, you could tell that Mike McDaniel, Tua's not, obviously he's the coach of his football team. You know, Mike McDaniel's Tua's coach, but you can tell there's definitely there's a family bond there between those two, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, I think at this point, all we got to do is just hope that the Hawaiian stallion there, Mr. Tua, I'm assuming he's Hawaiian. That just sounds like a Hawaiian name.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just hope he's gonna be fine in the future. But I tell you,
sit here and have a whole debate and conversation about should he retire or not. To me, Zach, and we'll disagree on this. I think it's not worth a topic of conversation, and it's not. I'm just talking us specifically. I'm talking everybody. It's like everybody comes to the conclusion that it's time for him to retire. Now, if we said, is it time for him to, let's say, miss 4 to 5 weeks to get this right, or miss the rest of the season and come back next year stronger than ever, I'd agree with that. I'd be like, you know what? I can understand that. I can agree with that. If that's what's going to be best for his safety and his head, then yes, by all means do that. But to be out here and say he needs to retire,
I'm just saying that it's definitely something. Maybe not. It's a foreseeable amount of time needs to be missed here before he comes back. I honestly don't even know if he should be coming back this season. As you just said, I think at this point it's a smart idea. Because what are you gonna do? Sit him for 6-7 weeks? The Dolphins probably lose 5 out of those 7 games, or 6 out of those 7 games, because they have Skylar Thompson as their fucking backup quarterback, or they go off to Ryan Tannehill, who hasn't played a snap in forever.
Well, they signed whatever Tyler Huntley's new name is.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a tough uphill battle, and maybe it gets to the point where it's not even worth bringing it back this season. Maybe you're right. You give him the year off. He goes to a neurologist. He goes see specialist, and he comes
But it
back
makes
better than
sense
ever.
now why they have so many quick plays, because you don't want to risk your quarterback getting hit. And that wasn't the first time that Tua scrambled in that game. That was quite a few times that he had done that, and they're already down by, I think, 21 points. I think it was 31-10 when that occurred, if not pretty damn close to it. So, it's part of the competition, it's part of the adrenaline, but and Damar Hamlin didn't even tackle him that hard. It was kind of a casual tackle,
Which
too.
I mean,
and he hit him with
crazy.
his chest, which his chest was still
two of the most fragile things in NFL colliding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Buffalo Bills moved to 2-0, and the Miami Dolphins.
Now, I know we spent a lot of time talking on Tua. I want to talk about the Bills a little bit.
Okay.
I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it. James Cook is going to have an absolute phenomenal season, and it showed Thursday night. They couldn't stop him, no matter what they tried. That 4th down play by Josh Allen to set up the first touchdown of the game was fantastic. But from the rest of the way there, I mean, Josh Allen's hand has to feel a lot better going into week 3, because he barely had, and it's his non-throwing hand too.
Yeah.
But it's going to feel so much better because he didn't get pressured. I don't think he took any hits. James Cook was taking all the hits, and Zach, they dominated.
The Bills,
the Dolphins.
The Bills look really good this year, Robbie. For a team that I had a lot of question marks coming into the season.
Yeah.
They have blown me away with how much better they are than I thought they were going to be.
Now, I didn't think they were going to be bad, but if you ask me when we come to the AFC playoffs, I don't think they're better than the Bengals still. We'll get to the Bengals later on. I don't think they're better than the Chiefs. I think they're neck and neck right there with the Ravens, if not a little bit better. I think they need to
Bengals
go and
both
get that
0-2
one
teams.
receiver, because I don't know how much longer Josh Allen could do with Khalil Shakir and Coleman and all those guys.
Oh, isn't Michael Thomas still available? I know he's a little bit older, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the whole. But Michael Thomas always gets hurt now. Always.
yeah, that's true. Well, Robbie, what do you say we move on? I know we kind of briefed over the Saints and Cowboys game, but do you want to get into a little bit more depth with it?
How about them Cowboys?
It's never gonna get old.
44 New Orleans Saints, 19 Dallas Cowboys. Alvin Kamara with 4 touchdowns. How brutal is this? Last week, I had Alvin Kamara, who got me 40 points. Chris Godwin got me 30 points. There's 12 teams in my league. I would have beaten 10 out of the 12 teams in my league.
Wow.
Obviously, me being one of them. The guy that I'm playing, of course, has the week of all weeks. So that's my tough pill to swallow. But I mean, the Saints.
Dad by 0.7.
Saints moved to 2-0 though, Robbie. My goodness gracious. An absolute slaughter fest here. The first half was just a joke for the Cowboys. What's going on here? Are the Saints good, or the Cowboys just had a bad game? I mean, what a tough day for me to have their defense in fantasy.
Zach, I really question more so about the Saints being good than the Cowboys being bad. I think the Cowboys are going to be fine. I just think that the Saints went to this game very well prepared compared to the Cowboys' inability to become prepared. The big difference right now, and we're seeing the first 2 weeks of the season, even though they dominated the Cleveland Browns, the Cowboys' defense is a problem. Dan Quinn is now the head coach of the Washington Commanders, and you could just see the difference between the corner they have now to Dan Quinn. Micah Parsons was literally on the record at one point saying, if he leaves, I might have to leave too, because that's how much these guys bought into Dan Quinn. I'm not seeing anything crazy with Trayvon Diggs. I'm not seeing anything crazy with Micah Parsons. You always get those highlights or those notifications or something. Nothing. It's been absolutely silent. The offense has been okay. It wasn't good yesterday. Dak had a couple bad throws that I'm sure he definitely wish he had back, but it's inexcusable when the best offensive player, in my opinion, on the Saints is Alvin Kamara because he could run and he could do things receiving that most running backs in the NFL can't do. And it backfired in the big time because he got 4 total touchdowns. That
Big
is
day.
inexcusable. At some point after he gets a second, don't you think about potentially double teaming?
I was going to say, maybe getting a few more.
Whatever weaknesses he has, you adjust to it. I mean, terrible coaching is what cost the Cowboys a game. Not the players, terrible coaching. And this is why most Cowboys fans have been saying, get rid of Mike McCarthy. And most of them wanted Bill Belichick going into the season.
I mean, it's looking like that would have helped now. I mean, obviously, they came off a really big performance against my boys in week 1. Pretty big setback here in week 2. But like you said, Robbie, I think they're going to be just fine as well. And maybe this is the kind of shit kicking you need to line you up for the rest of the year.
I mean, Zach, the best quarterback in the first 2 weeks of football this year isn't Patrick Mahomes, isn't Josh Allen, isn't Joe Burrow, isn't Dak Prescott, isn't Lamar. The best quarterback the first 2 weeks
Sam
of football.
Darnold.
No, it's basically been Derek Carr.
Derek Carr has been pretty good, too.
I get it. They played the Panthers, but you have to look what they did. The Cowboys be like, whoa.
You know they scored on their first 15 drives of the season?
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
I mean, I'm shocked by the New Orleans Saints because they were pretty mediocre last year for their standards. Dennis Allen, I still don't believe in Dennis Allen as a head coach, but for some reason, maybe we'll get some Saints fans on the show at some point to tell us the difference they see from last year to this year. 2 weeks in, they look pretty damn good. And the NFC South has to be questioned is it a legit contender or is it just like not legit contender? I don't think any of those teams are going to go to the Super Bowl, especially the Panthers. But it's going to be a competition for that division where I thought it was just going to be easy enough for Mr. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons to take this division and run away with it.
It's 100% going to be a lot closer than we had anticipated, Robbie. Are you? Can we talk about another quarterback that has been just on fire to start this season off, Robbie?
Let's talk about your boy,
my boy Baker, leading the Detroit Lions leading the Buccaneers past the Detroit Lions to move to 2-0 in one of the big upsets of the week. I mean, he's up there. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but he's up there in every football or every quarterback category near the top of the league right now. It's funny if you look at like the passing yard touchdowns and the throwing yards. It's like fucking Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield. Like I said, it's only 2 weeks in, but it's just hilarious how that's how this is playing out thus far. But maybe this is the year of the unwanted quarterbacks. You know, maybe this is the year of the underdogs. And right now, Baker Mayfield's playing like an absolute dog. They take down the Detroit Lions 20-16 in a very close game, very surprising game. Let me click on this and get some stats here. Of course, would have been nice to have this ready. Baker Mayfield, he actually really didn't do too much this game. Only threw it the ball 19 times, completed 12 for 185 yards and a touchdown and interception. Jared Goff with the 2 picks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers too, Robbie. 2-0. I mean, we had a feeling Tampa Bay was going to be decent, but maybe this is another team that's going to surprise some people this year.
It is entirely possible, Zachary, that Tampa Bay could contend as well. I mean, I don't know how they're advancing themselves, but Zachary, I have some audio for you.
Okay.
42.9. 1.
Don't tell me it just froze.
You already played this last week.
I know. I want to play again to troll you.
Well, congratulations. When we get to your
44.
Patriot
What
game,
is all
we can do
this?
some trolling.
Watson's quarterback rating. Mayfield's quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this
Hold
for
on.
one more second.
Okay. I'm glad you got that off your chest, Robbie.
Zachary, does it pain you to see Baker Mayfield have so much success?
No, I'm happy to see him doing good. Why would it pain me? He didn't do well in Cleveland. Let's be honest. It was time for a change. Last couple years.
Cleveland, they were 4th down conversion away from potentially advancing further into the playoffs.
Well, he did well, Cleveland. Maybe last couple. I think it was just after that last year when he was injured. It was time to make a change. All right, and I have nothing but respect for Baker, and I hope that he continues this incredible season he's piecing together.
Bring back Joe Flacco, Steve says. What are your thoughts?
I do like Mr. Joe Flacco. But you got anything else you want to say about this Tampa Bay and Detroit Lions game there, Robert?
Jared Goff looked terrible. Jared Goff inside the red zone was absolutely atrocious. It was not good. The Lions were the number 5, I think, best ranked team in the NFL in the red zone. And right now they are dead last. I don't know how, when you keep the same group of guys, the same core, you can't find a way to get into the end zone, especially with Tampa's weak secondary that they have. But they got to figure this out quick because 2 reasons. Number one, your offense was the reason for all your success of last year. And number 2, offensive coordinator Ben Johnson was highly regarded in this offseason as a head coach. He turned down the jobs because there was none that he liked. But if this offense can't click anytime soon, you might not get any job offers. And this one really worries me a lot, Zachary, outside of, a fantasy perspective. Sam Laporta, 2 receptions for 13 yards in week 2. In week 1, the stat line was pretty similar as well. It wasn't exactly that, but it was pretty similar. They got to find a way to get Sam Laporta involved because that was part of the reason of their crucial success last season.
Yeah, he's definitely a big piece for them. I mean, statistically, fantasy-wise, I think he was the number 1 guy last year in the tight end position. So definitely a guy you want to start getting the wheels turning for him. Like I said, we're only 2 weeks in, right? So, I mean, maybe we look at this as maybe what the Cowboys just did there. You get that loss to a team you should be beating in week 2, and it kind of sets you in the right line. Maybe Laporta's dealing with a little bit of an injury or something. Who knows? But
well, we know that Amon-Ra St. Brown is dealing with some sort of injury.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Fortunately is right. What's the next game we're breaking down?
Next game, Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers upset the Indianapolis Colts 16-10. Robbie, can I tell you why I'm excited about this?
Yes, you can.
Because I have Josh Jacobs in fantasy, and I just realized, not to say, because Ryan, if you're watching this, not to say that I don't want to see Jordan Love come back, but if he could take the most amount of time to come back so Josh Jacobs can get the ball 32 times every single game for the next 6 weeks or so, that would be really nice.
Shout out to Hollyhood 90.
Hollyhood 90. What is up, brother? Thank you for the follow here.
Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you joining in. But yeah, Josh Jacobs was a beast here, Robbie. I mean, Malik Willis he didn't really do much out there. That's an embarrassing loss for the Indianapolis Colts.
I think that's the most embarrassing loss of the week, dude.
Yeah, that is fucking, dude. Malik Willis is fucking horrible. And I'm sure Ryan, if he was here, he could fully 100% agree with that.
No, he definitely would. But
No.
I mean, they're lucky that they're prevailing with some they I don't know. They got lucky. They got extremely lucky for a guy that's average QBR throughout all the starts is below the league minimum of like 40 something or something like that, or like an NFL minimum. Like Malik Willis is statistically terrible. But in this game, 12 of 14, he did what he needs to do and pertain to his completions as well as a touchdown to I'm not even gonna try that. I'm gonna go with the last name, just Wicks. 32 carries for 151 yards for Josh Jacobs. Unbelievable. Right, and then when you look over at the Indianapolis side, like, are you blind? Are you naive? Are you stupid? Anthony Richardson completed 50% of his passes, 17 of 34 for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Meanwhile, Jonathan Taylor carried the ball 12 times and had 103 yards. What are you doing?
Yeah, give the fucking ball. I'm going to say this right now. Anthony Richardson fucking sucks.
What?
He makes a couple good plays here and there, but that guy is not. I shouldn't say he sucks.
You said he
He's
sucks.
not.
Stick with it.
He's not. He is a top 20 quarterback in the league. Top 20. The guy is going to be a 50 to 55% completion thrower. He's going to be, maybe he'll get his 150, 175 throwing yards, maybe his 80 rushing yards, but he's never going to be this dog that people think he's going to be, in my opinion. I think he's 100% overhyped. I don't know why he's going so high in fantasy. I understand he's got athleticism. To me, he's not the guy.
Well, now that you said that, you know what I have to play.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And he is not that guy. And it's showing here 0-2 for the Colts. I mean, and that this one was a stinger for him. Like, this one is one that you got to win.
Oh, that's one you go into, you expect to win. But you know what, Zachary? As I say that might be the worst loss of the season, I would be absolutely wrong if I didn't fail to mention about this game. I want to bring it up, Zachary.
You go right ahead, sir.
The Baltimore Ravens. They went into halftime with a, I think, 9-6 lead. 9-6. End up losing the game to the Raiders 23-26. Again, I know we're alluding to it. Again, it's week 2.
Yes.
Dude, you're
Okay.
Lamar freaking Jackson.
Can we bring up what he did
The final
in that game? Like, what on fucking earth are you fucking doing?
one
For those
moron.
For those of you that, Bob, I definitely did not have Baltimore 0-2. The fact that right now my division is going the Steelers, Browns, Bengals, and Ravens to me is kind of shocking. I know it's only week 2. We keep alluding to that, but I mean, Lamar Jackson obviously is a fantastic quarterback, but he makes some fucking brain flubbers sometime, and this one was a tough one, Robbie.
I got the video loaded up here. All right. This is the last play of the game in case you didn't see Lamar Jackson. Here it is.
No timeouts.
No timeouts. 1 second left on the clock.
Who's standing right here in the middle of the field. Jackson just going to run.
And we pause. Freaking Wi-Fi's.
Lamar with blockers ahead. Jackson throws it back. This Hill, that looks like a forward pass. There's the flag. Stanley coughs it up. Raiders don't have it yet. Now they do, and that should do it.
Not the smartest play. I mean, in my opinion, he looked like he was actually marching down pretty good there.
Zach, that play was retarded.
It was very retarded. And the start of the Bengals season also been retarded, Robbie, and I love every second of it. And if you're looking, I mean, you know what? Gardner Minshew is going to throw a lot of interceptions, Robbie, but that guy is exciting to watch play football. And
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a good guy for Devontae Adams to have too, because he's going to bomb it down the field to you. The guy's a fucking reckless quarterback.
I mean, that's what he was in Indianapolis last year, and he was very good.
Robbie, can we hype our good pal Steve up here?
Sure.
Why don't we move on to Aaron Rodgers' first victory in a New York Jets uniform, Robbie? I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little... Sorry, what'd you say?
Should I give a round of applause?
Give a round of applause. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear... You farted?
A round of applause?
I didn't hear it yet.
Oh, share this tab instead. My favorites. This is such a freaking process, you know. But for Steve, a round of applause.
Congratulations, Steve. The New York Jets are on the board. We got to be honest, though, Robbie. They haven't looked fantastic in 2 games. They have not looked great.
No, they have not. They've actually looked pretty pitiful.
Steve, I'm not that all excited, though. I agree with you, Steve. I think I know it will turn around. I mean, Rodgers is definitely dealing with some rust. But him and Garrett Wilson, I saw a few plays last game where it does look like they are starting to get that connection going. So if that starts to heat up, this could be a very, very dynamic duo on offense later on in this season. But let's face it here. I mean, Will Levis is probably the worst quarterback in the league right now. I mean, he's right up there with Daniel Jones. I mean, he is just horrible. You almost just feel bad for the guy. The interceptions coming out of this guy's hands are just, it looks like me playing out there, for fuck's sakes. But Jets get the job done, Robbie. They get their first win with Aaron Rodgers against a very opponent they definitely should handle, and did handle, but not as comfortably as I think they would have liked.
Not comfortable for me neither, because I had money in the Jets. But here's head coach Brian Callahan for the second consecutive press conference, calling out his quarterback, Will Levis.
I think the camera caught it pretty clear, if I had to guess. So, yeah, I was upset. It was dumb. It was the same exact thing he did last week, and he cost us points in the red zone. And that is what it is. He's a grown up and he knows better. And so, you know, I was really irritated that he cost us 3 points in a game that we probably needed it.
I mean, I don't disagree with him at all. I think as a young quarterback too, maybe you got to hear that from your coach.
I love the fact that Brian Callahan is just like real. Like he's not like trying to be like Aaron Boone, where Aaron Boone will suck up to the players after in the media. Like he's like, you know what? Like I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I tell them in the locker room, and this is the fact of the matter, the truth. And you know what? Will Levis has something there, dude. We saw it last year on a couple of occasions. There's something there, but it's a whole new system. It's a whole new scheme. You're bringing in Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley had a hell of a game, by the way.
Yep.
It's 2 weeks where they were there, and they just missed victory because of a crucial mistake by Will Levis. And he doesn't look like he's soft. He doesn't look like he's crying. Will Levis will take it on the chin. No diddy. And
Damn.
he'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, and obviously he's so new into the season or so new into his career, so you're going to expect these sort of speed bumps, which is a matter of how he handles them.
Should have done was brought in a veteran quarterback like Joe Flacco.
I was just going to say his name.
That's what you need. It's crazy because a lot of people think that there's a divide there of people thinking that you do need a veteran quarterback and you don't need a veteran quarterback. There's a reason why Drake May is not playing right now for the New England Patriots. Because Jacoby Brissett has seen and done it all. Not to mention, too, Jacoby Brissett has played with some great quarterbacks, likes of Tom Brady. And say what you want, Zachary, I know his performance hasn't been well, but he's had a lot of success in his career. And Deshaun Watson. You know, sometimes you need that veteran presence for these young guys to understand things that they might not see in college that they're going to see in the NFL. Because when you play in Kentucky for college football, it's pretty easy.
Bam, bam. Well, Robbie, why don't we go over another upset here, Robbie?
Wait, I want to talk about the Jets.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go on.
Because you missed a couple things about the Jets.
What is this?
The Jets are losing Jermaine Johnson for the rest of the year with an Achilles injury. That's the number one to be known. Number two, CJ Mosley ends up getting hurt. His status for Thursday against the Patriots is officially questionable. Zach, there's one thing hanging over the Jets right now that they need to try to get resolved immediately.
What is this?
Mr. Hassan Reddick, who they traded from the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange, they gave the Eagles a third-round pick and Bryce Hall. I think it's Bryce Hall. It's not Bryce
He's
Hall.
not playing this year.
Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff. The problem, Zach, is let's say as of like 7:08 p.m., I get a tweet from Adam Schefter saying that they agreed to a contract extension, and he goes and he plays Thursday. He's not going to have that immediate impact. He's done nothing for football. No. He's been paying to sit out games instead of playing to get paid.
I think he's at about $5 million too that he has to pay.
$8
million. Yep. There you go.
$900,000 per game that he misses. It is.
What the fuck is wrong with this idiot?
I don't know.
Like at some point you got to wake the fuck up and just go and suck back your pride.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, even if they come with what?
I said Matthew John's doing it right now in Atlanta. There's a reason why the Patriots trade him, but the Jets aren't going to trade him because what team's going to want to take him now? The Eagles must have known something because he's sitting out with the Jets right now. And let's say the Jets try to trade him, and a team trades for him, but they don't want to give him a contract extension. Then what are they doing?
Yeah, no, it's
Steve. He said he will not play until he gets the contract that he thinks he deserves. And Hassan Reddick isn't a bum by any stretch. I think he's a very good player, but to ask for money around the legs of elite players like Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, I know he's had a lot of sacks in his career, but those guys stick like Micah Parsons. Those guys stick out from you, bro. You are not in that team. You're not that guy.
Fucking 1,000,000%.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy.
All right, Mr. Robbie. Sam Darnold, ex-New York Jet, and the Minnesota Vikings take down the Christian McCaffrey-less San Francisco 49ers 23-17 in what seems like the 15th upset on Sunday. San Fran moves to 1-1. Vikings get the victory. Justin Jefferson does go down with an injury, though, so you have to keep your eye on that one. Mm-hmm. But let's be honest here, Robbie. Sam Darnold has looked fucking pretty good.
I was just going to say,
so far.
Sam Darnold a good quarterback?
I mean, maybe he just needed 6-7 years of watching quarterbacks play to finally figure out what to do in the NFL. But
I mean, it's the same thing as Geno Smith. They play with the Jets. They stink. They go to another team. They stink. They sit on the bench, and they figure it out.
Yeah, and it's working out for Geno right now. And so far, so good for Sam Darnold's short career here in Minnesota.
I mean, Sam Darnold has looked call it as it is, amazing.
Yeah, he's looked fantastic.
He has looked just like what they expected with him coming out of USC. I mean, that 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin
Great
Jefferson,
throw.
I understand that Jefferson made it, but the throw was
The throw was perfect.
right on.
Absolutely perfect.
Dude, are the Vikings that good?
They might. This fucking year is
Dude,
really
giving us
fucking me
major
over.
question marks with the Dallas Cowboys, with the Minnesota Vikings, with the Saints, with the Buccaneers, with the Lions. Like, there's the Ravens. There's so many questions through 2 weeks of football, and Zach, I love it.
I love it too. I mean, you look the Vikings 2-0 now to start the season. I mean, they are a surprising team. I don't know if they're going to be. They are plus 28 as well for their scoring difference here.
Jesus Christ,
Saints are plus 62 through 2 games.
dude! But it can't go notice that you now get to see. Last year we saw it with Deebo Samuel. This year we're seeing with Christian McCaffrey the impact those two players have when they are not playing. And Zach, not for nothing, Deebo Samuel, you know, this guy was known for his dynamic versatility as a running back and receiver. I understand he lost 10 yards, but they had to been like weird jet sweeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Two rushes for 10 yards. I mean, you got to have that back in there somewhere, Kyle Shanahan. It's inexcusable because you know what the reason why this guy got paid what he got paid. You know what I mean? It's inexcusable. But speaking of Deebo Samuel, Zachary, I believe there was breaking news a couple hours before the show as pertained to Deebo Samuel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go on X and I'm going to look up Deebo Samuel here. And as it loads, it says the quote. 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel suffered a calf strain and will miss a few weeks. So that's another catastrophic hit for the San Francisco 49ers.
The injuries just keep coming for that
Here
team.
are injuries. Because I know we're going to forget to mention it, every single guy for every team when we're going through our around the league here, essentially. So I'm just going to give it to you right here, right now. This is from Yahoo Fantasy Reports. Injuries by Fantasy Draft ADP. Number 1, obviously, Christian McCaffrey. He's out indefinitely with the what the hell is it? Plantar fasciitis, right?
No, Achilles tendonitis.
Tendonitis. AJ Brown missing Monday Night Football because of a hamstring injury. Puka Nacua is out 5 to 7 weeks. Isaiah Pacheco is out 6 to 8 weeks. Deebo Samuel's out for weeks. Cooper Kupp, another ankle injury. The reason why I stay away from fantasy. IR out indefinitely. Joe Mixon is being evaluated for an ankle injury on a hip tackle, which we'll get into later on. Kenneth Walker was out on Sunday. Raheem Mostert was out on Thursday. Jordan Love, obvious. T. Higgins out weeks. I believe it was a hamstring injury with him. Evan Ingram got hurt in warmups. He's out week to week. Jake Ferguson was out. Keenan Allen was out. David Njoku's out. Tua's out. Hollywood Brown, who the Chiefs just signed in the offseason, is likely out for the whole entire regular season, playoffs pending.
Bam.
A lot of injuries in week 2.
A lot of injuries, and that means for fantasy folks, I mean, I'd be looking at Rams receivers, and I'd be looking at 49er running backs here. Or not 49er running backs, sorry, Chief running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, why don't we move on here, and let's talk about your New England Patriots here, Robbie, because I know they did lose that game to the Seattle. Good team Seattle is. Close one. But they have looked a lot better than I think you and me both had anticipated going into this season. I mean, they very easily could be 2-0 right now.
I'm sorry. I was going to look up New England Patriots. I scrolled down to Sean O'Malley, which we'll get into later. Sugar State Athletic Commission breaking news. Sugar won 2 of the last 3 rounds. Fight overturned. Sugar won. And Stu from Barstool. You know that guy Stu from Barstool? He's like the short midget guy. Yeah, he tweets at him. He goes, "You're a pussy and fought like one. You lost all 5 rounds. It's not a laughing or teasing matter. You fucked me and your diehard fans. You got fucking pissed on. Own it and act like a fucking champ, not a clown."
Oh my God.
Yo, you ever see like Stephen A's like, what questions do you have for Stephen A. Smith? Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, 1-on-1 in bed. Who would you pick? The guy is insane, bro.
He's a fucking. I'm surprised the guy hasn't had multiple heart attacks. The amount of screaming he does, because you can just tell by looking at him, he's got high cholesterol.
Oh yeah, for sure. Zachary, let me just say this point blank and simple. No hesitation, nothing. the Patriots got robbed by the referees in that game. It's absolutely obvious. It's despicable. The 2 PI calls that were called through 2 points of the game led to a touchdown, which was very crucial for the Seattle Seahawks. And the last one was just absolutely BS, dude. The last one that they called was unbelievable. I mean, Zach, you see that he played him completely clean. He looks back at the ball, he's staring at the ball, and then he makes the play, and they throw the flag, which leads, it was 3rd down, and it led to 1st down in field goal territory, and the Seahawks win on a game-winning field goal. But the one that really got me ticked off was the first one that was called early in the game when you have, I think it was Tyler Lockett. I could be Smith, I could be wrong who the receiver was. They're at the front end of the pylon. Geno Smith throws the ball to the backside of the end of that pylon, which is 10, 15 yards, which means it is an uncatchable ball. They throw the flag in the end zone, say ball spot at the 1 yard line, automatic 1st down. And you know what? I could complain about the refs here, but I will give Seattle the credit where credit is due. The Patriots had a chance to go up 6, and the field goal got blocked. I'll give credit where credit's due. They got the ball first. They failed. But you can't not tell me, watching the overall spectrum of the game, looking at that and seeing those 2 terrible, costly pass interference calls that cost the Patriots a chance to go 2-0. I will give a lot of credit to the defense. Zach, that defense, that Patriots defense is low-key elite. And I don't say that word lightly. Zach, that secondary, Christian Gonzalez leading the way, Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar, Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, and then that front 7 with Keon White leading the charge, who's basically replaced Matthew Judon, who last week had 2.5 sacks. This week he had a sack and a half, so he has 4 sacks on the season, which, by the way, we failed to mention with the Lions game. Aiden Hutchinson had 5 sacks against Baker
The
Mayfield.
guy's a fucking animal, dude.
Zach, when we're live on Thursday, I already told this to Steve. I said this isn't biased. There is a chance the New England Patriots could take down the New York Jets this Thursday. And if you had asked me this before the season started, I would have told you the Jets would beat the Patriots by over 20 points. Right now, Zach, with the way the Jets can't stop the run, with the way Patriots are running football, both Ramondre Stevenson and, shockingly, Antonio Gibson, there is a chance the Patriots could win this game on Thursday. But the one thing I give the Jets credit for is Robert Saleh is an incredible defensive coordinator now as the head coach. He could figure out a way to prevent the Patriots from winning the football and make a Jacoby Brissett try to win the game. And not to mention, too, Jacoby Brissett came up a couple times that game in pain after getting sacked. So we might get a chance to see Drake May this Thursday.
Oh. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But the Patriots move
Thursday. I haven't been excited about a Patriots game so long till this Thursday because there's so many different things that can happen between the Patriots winning, running the football, Brissett getting hurt, May coming in. Zach, this Thursday is something to watch. Let's talk about the Seahawks really quick.
Yeah.
Wow. You want to talk about just like pick it. Cheers, Mark. Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the receiving there, Zachary. I almost spilled my beer because it landed on my mouse wire. DK Metcalf, 10 receptions, 129 yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 12 receptions, 117 yards.
I mean, they got a strong receiving core. They got a quarterback that can put the ball where it needs to go. They got great running. To me, I'm not sold on the Seahawks team.
Now, Zachary,
I'm not sold on them.
That's not it right there. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's the play I was talking to you earlier about. I believe this was Jonathan Jones with Tyler Lockett. Let's see. I think this one's it. So I want to show you the play, and I'll let you be the judge.
Yep. Oh, no, I saw this on Twitter. That's an absolute horrific call. The ball was landing in the fucking white, it looked like, too.
Beyond it. And
so
they throw the flag, and the Seahawks get a touchdown there. It turns to 14-10.
And the rest was history.
And
why don't we...
It happens, man. It happens. I want to see if I can find Christian Gonzalez's numbers against Mr. What the fuck's his name? DK Metcalf. Christian Gonzalez. I don't know how we spell Gonzalez. Is use it with a Z or does he use it with?
I think it's a Z.
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Oh, used an X instead of a Z because I'm a freaking moron. Let's see. Okay, so Christian Gonzalez, when he was guarding DK Metcalf, DK Metcalf was targeted 7 times, 3 catches for 24 yards. So he got 129 total yards. So 24 of them were against Christian Gonzalez, bro. Oh my God, Zach. Oh my God.
He's off to a good start so far here, Robbie.
These are his total numbers. With Christian Gonzalez covering A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf. And again, they don't have CeeDee Lamb's numbers listed on here because he got hurt early on in that game last year. 17 catches, 148 total yards allowed, Zach.
Some pretty impressive numbers. Let's see how he holds himself if they face the Browns this year.
Christian Gonzalez, a matchup DK Metcalf. He's a great receiver. I have fun out there covering him. He's one of the league's best. He made plays. I made plays. The main thing is we didn't win. So besides that, it really don't bother me, or it really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Whoops. Jesus, 36 total coverages on DK Metcalf, and he only had 3 catches. And the 56-yard touchdown that DK Metcalf had was assigned to Kyle Duggar on a miscommunication.
Way to go, Duggar.
Zach, I low-key, I think the max games the Patriots can win this year are 9. I'm not saying they're going to win 9 games, but if I had to put if you had asked me what's the most games you think they could win this year, I put it at 9. Why not? They took down the Bengals. They fought with the Seahawks. They're a competitive team. They're going to play hard every single week. They're coached well. Jerod Mayo's done a great job. I was really questioning Jerod Mayo going into this season. I really, I forgot who the hell I wanted ahead of Jerod Mayo. I think I really wanted Mike Vrabel. They're doing great, man. They're doing great.
Off to a good start for the Patriots here. Let's move on to my boys here, Robbie. The Browns get into the win column, 18-13 against the Jaguars. I'm going to be honest here. The Jaguars are they just look like shit.
Dude.
I mean, they
Trevor
look
Lawrence,
like shit.
Trevor Lawrence is ass.
And
that might be the most overhyped quarterback draft class of all time, and they're all a bunch of failures. Maybe Justin Fields isn't a failure yet. Zach Wilson's a failure. In my eyes, Trevor Lawrence is a freaking failure right now. Mac Jones is a failure.
Especially for Trevor Lawrence coming in with literally being the fucking new godsend. He was the next Tom Brady, the next greatest football quarterback to come in. It's like this guy has just fallen off the face of the planet of the earth, in my opinion, for his skill level. He is not an elite quarterback by any means. He's a very mediocre quarterback. Obviously, the Browns' defense is good, so that's going to help out the fact for me. But, I mean, moving on from the Jaguars, I want to talk about my Browns a little bit here, Robbie. Yes, we got the win. Deshaun Watson actually had some plays where he looked okay, but it's still not looking very good in Cleveland area for myself here. I mean, he had the little Russian touchdown, whatever, 1 yard. Then he had that one nice play where he kind of, he danced inside and in and out of the pocket, then made that sideline throw. If you look at the throw is fucking horrible. The ball is going like this all throughout the fucking air. I really hope this team can figure this out and piece some shit together here, man, because obviously it's nice to get a win, but the Jaguars are garbage. I mean, in my opinion, that game was closer than it should have been. We had a great lead going into the second half. We made it a game because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. But I guess at the end of the day, I can't be too upset. I saw that. I ignored it. But I guess at the end of the day, I can't be too upset because a win is a win. And Deshaun Watson didn't look fully retarded. He looked, like he had like a retardation nicked him in the shoulder or something. That's what he looked like. So maybe this is a sign of good things to come.
Trevor Lawrence in his last 7 games is 0-7, 1,652 passing yards, 10 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 81.9 passer rating. The record of first-round quarterbacks from the 2021 draft this season, Trevor Lawrence is 0-2, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones not available, as Mac Jones is the backup to Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields is 2-0 at the Steelers, which we will get into in a little bit, but probably not spend much time on it because it's another ugly game.
Yeah, well, we can even move on from this Browns game, unless you have anything you want to say about the Browns, Robbie.
Matt,
to be brutally honest,
Matt Okada who I don't think is any sort of insider or anything whatsoever. I just see this tweet here. If I'm starting a franchise today, I'm taking Baker Mayfield over Trevor Lawrence at me. And Matt, I agree with you.
1,000,000% I agree with that.
I agree with you.
We're Team Baker, baby.
Someone so, oh my God. Longest active quarterback losing streak. Sam Howell 8, Trevor Lawrence 7, Daniel Jones 6.
Yeesh. Well, you know what, Robbie? I heard you mention Daniel Jones, so why don't we just get that fucking absolute meathead out of the way here? Daniel Jones, we can all agree, is the worst quarterback in the NFL. I mean, we said it last week that we played that clip of the gentleman talking to Daniel Jones.
I disagree with you.
Okay, he's the bottom 3.
He's second worst. The worst one. The worst one just got benched.
Bryce Young. And we are going to get into that. We will get into that.
Hollywood. Love the first chat, but he is.
I hope you're not a Giants fan, my friend. And if you are, then we'll post the suicide hotline number here in the description, because
Hollywood, is this the gentleman that I met Saturday night over at Lake of Isles? Zachary, I'm promoting the podcast when I'm out and about. Meanwhile, you see 3 freaking NHL players. You talk to one of them for a good period of time, and you didn't even ask them. You loser.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough when you're fucking 25 beers deep.
That's an overexaggeration. You were not 25 beers deep.
I was probably, honest to God number, I was probably 12 to 15 deep.
You're an alcoholic.
Well, I don't really have much to say about this game, Robbie, besides the fact, no, we met at an all-male bar. That sounds about right for Robbie there, Hollywood.
Oh, you son
That's a gay bar. Jaden Daniels gets his first win in the NFL. I mean, if we're even going to call it a win, because it's against the fucking New York Giants. I think me and my boys could put together a team that could compete with the Giants, to be honest with you. It's going to be a very tough year for the Giants, Robbie. I mean, I think, I'm going to set their win total right now.
Don't say it. Okay, 2. Okay.
They're going to get 2 wins this year. They're going to have one game where they upset some top-ranked team, because it seems like they just have those.
Des made a new account. Des made a new account.
Welcome to the show, Des. Appreciate you dropping in, brother.
What a piece of shit.
But Robbie, why don't we move on? You mentioned Bryce Young. So
I can't talk.
Sorry. I keep forgetting.
How do you keep forgetting, you moron? I'm going to call you moron.
Then talk about him.
I think it's justified. Well, Zach, if we're going to be completely honest here, I think the Giants do win this game if Graham Gano doesn't get hurt. And heading into that game, he was questionable. He went through his warm-ups, and apparently he was good to go. And then he has his kickoff. It was a very bad kickoff, and he didn't play the rest of the game. So they had to go for 2-point conversion after 2-point conversion, and they didn't convert on all 3 attempts. Zach, Daniel Jones actually didn't look bad. He didn't look great, but he didn't look bad. Malik Neighbors had 10 receptions on 127 yards and a touchdown. Devin Singletary ran the ball well, 16 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. But Zach, the New York Giants are the first team in NFL history. The record was 1,132-0 when having 3 touchdowns and losing the game.
I mean, to a team that didn't even score a touchdown.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily like that. Hold on, because you know what? There's a lot of
teams. No, but I'm just saying. Like, I know what you're meaning there. They got the I see what you're saying.
I gotta find the stat, because you know what? I'm not telling the truth there, because a lot of people scored 3 touchdowns and have lost.
No, I think that's what it is. It's 3 touchdowns against a team that did not score a touchdown, and they're the first team to lose that game, because the Commanders had all field goals, no touchdowns that game for them. They had 7 field goals, Robbie.
And if you had the Commanders kicker, by God bless you.
Good on you. Let's go over some stats quick.
Here's another good stat for you.
Yeah.
Steelers kicker Chris Boswell has more points than the entire New York Giants team.
Well, that is embarrassing.
The New York Giants have been 0-2 in 10 of their last 12 years.
It's not going good in New York here. At least for the Giants. The Jets at least have a little bit of hope.
I don't know if this is an actual quote here, because sometimes this thing is a meme, but sometimes they're telling the truth here. And again, I don't know. You know, I'm not going to read because I don't know if it's true. So it'd be wrong if I did read it, because it might be falsified, and then he gets a lot of hate. So I'm not going to go ahead and read that. I'm not going to do it.
Well, I will say this, Robbie. Jaden Daniels in his first win, 23 for 29, 226 yards in the air. Brian Robinson Jr. rushed 17 times for 133 yards. Great games from those two. And the Commanders are on the board in the win column.
Sweet Jesus. The Giants' next 6 games. This Sunday, they're on the road to where, Zachary?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
To your Cleveland Browns. They're on the road to Cleveland.
Nice.
They follow up with that Thursday hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
They then go all the way to that Sunday slate where they go out and take on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, the 12th man. Then they're hosting the Bengals. Then they host the Eagles. Then they're on Pittsburgh. And Zachary, you know what? The Germans deserve it. When they go to Germany, it's going to be the Giants and the Panthers. The Germans deserve it.
Oh my God! Well, that's a fucking barn burner. Way to choose 2 great teams to grow the game in Germany. Even though I feel like those are the games that we should be putting in fucking Germany. These are the good games over here. Fuck those guys. Sorry, Germans.
No, I'm not.
All right, Robbie. Can we we got to talk about this Chargers Panthers game here, and more importantly,
wait. There's one more thing I want to say about the Giants.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It just came back to me. I'm sorry. Obviously, I listen to a lot of New York radio because that's kind of my sports, area with the Yankees and the Nets.
Yep.
So the main topic conversation was one of the two have to go today, Joe Shane or Brian Dable. And here's what I'm going to tell you right now. If you fire one or both, I think the Giants are just back to what they're always doing over and over and over again. 2 or 3 years with a head coach and a GM, fire and bring him a new one. 2 or 3 years, fire. Zach.
It hasn't worked.
You have to know, because you know what? This isn't Joe Shane and this isn't Brian Dable's whole fault. They're still working off of what the Giants had before all of them. Tommy DeVito looked great last year. For his standards of Tommy DeVito heading into that game, he looked great because Tommy DeVito was expected to be an absolute bum loser to help them lose games, but he helped them win games. And why is that? Because Brian Dable is a good coach. If the Giants fail and they have the number 1 pick, and if Shedeur Sanders is there, whoever else it is, okay, whatever top quarterback is out there that Brian Dable could coach, although I don't know if he could do Shedeur Sanders, so who knows. The fact of the matter is, I think they should wait around and wait until there's that quarterback that Brian Dable likes, and they pick that guy, and then you see what happens from there. It could be next year, it could be the year after that. This has to be a patient process because although they looked good in the defensive side, when they have in that front 7 with Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns, Malik Neighbors is to be seen. They are not a contender in the NFC East for next year, the year after that, and maybe not even the year after that because you still got the Eagles and you got the Cowboys. And until you find a quarterback that could level up, let alone with Jalen Hurts, with Dak Prescott, you're going nowhere. The Giants have to be as patient as humanly possible throughout this process. You don't fire Joe Shane. You don't fire Brian Dable. Why don't you fire Brian Dable, Zachary? Because he brought them to the playoffs when they were supposed to be mediocre. And I know that it wasn't Daniel Jones, it was Saquon. But at the end of the day, they had to sign that contract because you could, with the way Daniel Jones played through that regular season and won them that playoff game in Minnesota, you couldn't let him go. As mediocre as he is, he had a good year that year. You could not let him go. Giants fans, and this comes from a Patriots fan. I'm pleading you. Be patient. Stop rushing into conclusions. Just be patient. And Zach, that's all I wanted to say. I'm sick and tired of it's always fire, fire, fire. Now, when we're talking about firing in New York, if you said fire Aaron Boone, I'd say absolutely. This guy's been to 2 or 3 ALCSs and he's blown every single one of them.
Yeah,
Brian Dable deserves a chance. So does Joe Shane.
Well, Robbie, well said, sir. Well said. Let's move on here to the Chargers and Panthers game here. Bryce Young, terrible game for him. He has now been sat for Andy Dalton going into week 3. However,
About
the
time.
head coach did come out and say that he is still their quarterback of the future. He just wanted to make a change after going 0-2. But there's one guy, Robbie, that I want to talk about here, and he's the running back for the Chargers because J.K. Dobbins has been electric to start this season so far. Who the hell saw this guy coming out like this?
No one.
I mean, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. Which Harbaugh is it? Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh has got these Chargers team firing on all cylinders. 2-0 to start the season here. I mean, obviously the Panthers game was one we expected that they were going to absolutely demolish in. But maybe Harbaugh's got a little good thing going here at the Chargers. I'm still not expecting much from him.
He still does, and I think what we see what the philosophy is going to be. They clearly don't have that number one receiver, but Quentin Johnson did look good in that game. They're going to run the football, and they're going to play great defense, and Herbert's going to bail them out when needed because Justin Herbert can do that. Jim Harbaugh, I told you going into the season, I think they're going to go 9-8 because I'm going to give him his respect that he deserves that respect because how good he's been throughout his whole career in the NFL as a head coach with the San Francisco 49ers. Outside of that last year, I mean, the politics with Kaepernick really affected the overall spectrum of the San Francisco 49ers because there was a lot of animosity going toward the kneeling of the Pledge of Allegiance, which we're going to stay out of, but I think a lot of people know my stance. They buy into this, and he knows how to coach young athletes as well as grown men. And Zach, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they can sit around and compete for the AFC West. I'm not saying they're going to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but I'm going to say under Brandon Staley, they stood no chance. Under Jim Harbaugh, the Chiefs, when you face the Chargers, don't take them lightly because Jim is going to fire those motherfuckers.
I got a great Chiefs stat for you too when we get to that game.
Yeah, I know what you're going to talk about. I know it is. I've seen the stat. Okay,
well,
when we get to it.
Do you got anything else you want to say about this Panthers-Chargers game here, Robbie? Maybe a little bit about our Bryce Young there.
That dude was set up to fail from the start, man. Seriously, I never really feel bad for athletes, Zach, but how could you not feel for Bryce Young? This guy went from the best university in college football with the most pristine head coach to the new Cleveland Browns. Sorry, but someone has to take that title. The new Cleveland Browns of the NFL, worst owner in the NFL. And when he got drafted, the coaching staff didn't even want him. They wanted CJ Stroud. They set him up to fail. Here he is, year 2. He's still not getting coached the proper way. He's getting set up to fail. What they should have done is say, you know what? Listen, if you're going to bring me in as the coach, I'm doing this my way, not your way. Your way got you into the situation where you ended up last year. It's my way. And I'm starting Dalton over Bryce Young so Bryce can learn. Because Bryce, you know, it all depends on the athlete. Some are better learning out on their own. Some better are, it was what I alluded to earlier with Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco. Like, you need that veteran quarterback. Andy Dalton, he was a pretty solid quarterback at one point of his NFL career.
Oh, yeah.
He can teach Bryce Young a thing or two when he's on that field saying, this is what I was looking for, this is what I should have done, or vice, all that.
Now, I think obviously in their primes and obviously at the career or at the time in the career when they were being that sort of mentor, I think Alex Smith is better than Andy Dalton, but you could look at it maybe as an Alex Smith situation where you get a guy like Mahomes to watch a veteran quarterback that was never really elite by any means, but was a good, solid quarterback his entire career.
Yep.
And maybe that's exactly what the kid needs to fucking figure out how to play this game at the NFL speed because he is getting killed out there.
It's a lot different from college football, man.
Really yes.
And
Robbie,
I remember those debates back in the day when they'd be like, could Duke basketball take down the worst team in the NBA? Could Alabama take down the Cleveland Browns? Like, bro, no, they couldn't.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Stop.
However, it is 7:40. We got 4 more games left to go over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go through this Pittsburgh-Denver one real quick. I don't even really have much to say about this by the fact that Steelers defense is absolutely incredible. Bo Nix maybe just will not be as good as we thought he was going to be.
No, I never thought it was going to be good from the start.
I thought he was going to be okay. He looks terrible.
The Steelers defense is probably going to lead them into the playoffs or at least a winning record because I thought the Steelers team was going to be ass, but that defense is so goddamn good.
Now what happens here, Robbie, before we move on to the next game here, if, say, Russell Wilson comes back in week 5 and the Steelers are 4-0.
Nope. No.
You got to keep going with Fields, right?
You got it. It's the same situation that the Cowboys had with Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. You ride the hot hand.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, maybe Fields is playing himself into a starting position, even though he's really not blowing me away with the way he's playing.
He's doing enough to win.
Can we talk about
damn it. No.
What happened?
Oh, the Patriots suffered a major injury. Patriots standout linebacker Jawan Bentley's injury is worse than publicly known, and sources say he's out for the season with a torn pec. Juwan Bentley had more than 100 tackles in each of the last 3 seasons and was on his way again. That is a major hit for the Patriots, Zach.
That is a tough one there, Robert.
Oh, that's so bad, bro. You have no idea, man. Damn.
Well, very sorry to hear that, Robert. Let's move on quickly. Talk about these Rams and Cardinals. Cardinals slaughter the Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr., welcome to the league. You know, his dad in his Hall of Fame career never had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in a quarter, and it took his son Marvin Harrison 5 quarters to do so.
Yeah, 2 weeks essentially. Yeah.
So, I mean, this kid is going to be something special. This Arizona Cardinals offense looks very nice. The Rams, there are a lot of injuries now in their offense. I mean, for a team that the Rams were kind of one of those ones where I'm like, they could be fucking, they could be a sneaky good team. They could be one of those teams that just missed the playoffs. They don't look good at all. Let's just be honest. They look absolutely terrible. This one was just a beatdown of epic proportions. Big win for the Cardinals, though. Kyler Murray looked great. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked great. Maybe this is going to be a pretty solid Cardinals team this year, Robbie. They were taking it to Buffalo last week until they calved.
Now, I want to sit here and tell you that, yes, they are going to be. But, Zach, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. We've seen this story where the Cardinals come out the first 6 or 7 weeks of football, and they're fantastic, and then the downfall happens. So what Kyler Murray has to do here, he has to really show what Kyler Murray really is. Not for 6 or 7 weeks. We need it for at least 12 weeks.
Yeah. No, yep, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think
that could lead to 10 wins.
I was going to say, I think if we get that version of him, I agree. I think that's a playoff team 100%. But you know what else is just absolutely disgusting, too? Trey McBride is gross.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly making his way up into that upper echelon of tight ends in the league here, Robbie. Do you have anything else you want to say about that one, Robbie? Or can we get into probably the game of the week here?
The game of the week.
Cincinnati, Kansas City. The Bengals come in 0-1. Kansas City comes in 1-0. Big game for the Bengals. And a last-second field goal is what tips him up for it. But, Robbie, I mean, this was a win for the Kansas City Chiefs at the hands of the NFL officiating. We've said it before, and we're going to say it again. I don't know why Mahomes just gets fucking glazed left, right, and center for this. That stat I was talking about. Oh.
No, it froze.
Okay, well, that stat I was going to say, it's a good thing I just fact-checked it because it's not true. It is not true.
What, the thing since 2018?
This one says Patrick Mahomes has thrown 53 interceptions that have been overturned by a penalty in the last 6 years. And then it goes into the actual statistic is 17 interceptions that have been overturned, which, I mean, is still pretty impressive. It's still a lot of interceptions overturned. Bob just alluded to Jamar Chase in the comment section, and we are going to get into that guy in a second here because that guy has done a pop 180.
Dude, that freaking PI call is absolutely ridiculous.
There was a bunch of them that were ridiculous. I mean, the Bengals kind of got shafted, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Burrow, for some reason, is just he is amazing against the Chiefs. But this Bengals team, Robbie, this year, I think Jamar Chase is a really big red flag for him this year. It just seems like he's drawing all the attention of that team onto himself with his contract talks, with the way that he's acting on the sidelines, the way he's acting in the game. A really costly penalty for him last game with an unsportsmanlike realistically, it could have been a flag when he got taken down, but the flag's not thrown. You think going up to the ref and fucking yelling and screaming in his face is going to make him throw the flag? It is going to make him throw the flag on you. So, to me, this guy just has to wake the fuck up. Stop being a fucking egotistic maniac and play football.
My turn?
Yeah, you go right ahead, sir.
Dude, I was watching that game live. I knew that flag was coming. 2 reasons. One, it's just Kansas City Chiefs. They get Zach, a lot of people used to give me crap back in the day about the Patriots getting all these flags. And dude, you can't sit here and tell me that they don't glaze the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes where it did the Patriots and Tom Brady. It is by far way different with the Patriots than it is with the Kansas City Chiefs. By far, in my unbiased opinion. Number
It's
2.
definitely a biased opinion, but I will say there's definitely a lot more glazing going on with Kansas City. But the Patriots got glazed pretty good for about a decade, Robbie.
I'm not going to dispute that. I am not going to dispute that, but I will tell you that. Oh, here it is, Zachary. Now, this, I think, is actual legitimate fact. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 17 interceptions
Yes.
that were called back to defensive penalties, the most in NFL since 2018. And I think that is a pretty accurate stat, if you ask me.
It is. No, I did that because the one I just read there. You know, Twitter does that thing now where
Yes.
they have like a stat, and then underneath it it'll be like a fact check thing.
Yep.
That's what the fact check thing just said there too. It's not 53 because when I saw that number today, I was like, what?
Yeah.
It is 17 interceptions called back, that's fucking. I'm gonna
Glazing.
say it.
Glazing.
That's retarded.
It is. It absolutely is. Oh, I like this tweet too, Zachary. The most insane thing about what's happening in Carolina is that they trade star players like Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Brian Burns in the prime of their careers, and in those deals, gave up more first-round picks than they received in return. It's absurd. All 3 players are 26-year-old or younger when they were traded.
Oh my god! I mean, whoever the fuck is running these Panthers team needs to lead this organization.
Retarded. Zach, what Jamar Chase did was inexcusable. And Joe Burrow had to go in there and try to calm him down. Joe Burrow was calm about it until he couldn't be calm about it no more and shoved him pretty aggressively, Zach. I mean, that was not a casual, friendly hug. That was Joe Burrow. Shut the hell up. Shut your mouth. I commend Joe Burrow for his leadership. And the line, not for nothing, too. I get that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are boys, but let's just say Jamar Chase snaps. Let's just say, for the sake of humanity, you're an offensive lineman. You're over 300 pounds. You get your big ass in there and you calm him down, because Joe Burrow might not scare him, but your big ass will. Your big ass will, for sure.
Yeah. But I think Jamar Chase needs to take a fucking step back and look at himself in the mirror and go.
It's not the guys on the field or the coaching staff's fault. They don't control the whole contract situation. You want to be mad at the front office? Be mad at the front office.
Exactly.
Yes, I understand.
Don't fucking ruin it for your teammates with stupid penalties like that in critical moments of the game.
Angry because he thought it was a hip drop tackle. And Zach, you know what? Understandably so. But at the same time, too, in that situation in the game where it's third and manageable, now you get a 15-yard penalty and it turns into third and plus 20. And yeah, they got the field goal, but they had a better chance of converting for the first down and potentially getting a touchdown. And that's something that Jamar Chase is going to have to look at and be like, you know what? I
fucked up. And hopefully he has that Actually, you know what? I hope he doesn't have that realization, because I am enjoying watching the Bengals lose, and I am enjoying watching the Ravens lose more than anybody knows. But nonetheless, Robbie, that was a hell of a game. Exactly what we thought was going to be just a battle. And in my opinion, the Bengals got absolutely robbed.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Take that back. Has Travis Kelce gotten worse since Taylor Swift's gotten his life?
Yes, 100%. You want to know why, Robbie? I've alluded to this so many times. When you're getting blowjobs from a beautiful, bodacious, light-skinned woman, you are going to get in there and you are going to want to lay it on the line every single day. Now he's probably getting teeth blowjobs from a number 2 pencil in Taylor Swift. And to me, maybe his dick's in pain from the amount of teeth that she uses via her blows, that maybe he's just not able to catch the football to the level he's used to catching the football. It also could be the fact that he's getting older. You know, that's also something we could throw into the equation too.
Zach, I promise you, I am so making a clip of this on our TikTok.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. The stats are all kind of aligning here.
Teethy blowjobs.
I don't know why. I just look at Taylor Swift and I go, nah, chick can't suck a penis. There's no chance.
Bruh.
Okay. Do you got anything else you want to say about the...
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Body chill.
Oh, my God. Do you got anything else you want to say about the Bengals and Chiefs, Robbie, or should we get into the very boring, very shitty Sunday night football game?
The game I felt comfortable sleeping at like freaking halftime. Yeah, let's go.
Caleb Williams.
By the way,
Yep.
Fairbanks cost me my fantasy football matchup against Dad.
Tough game.
That dude is a freaking Zach. You know, if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd say there's a limited amount of kickers you feel comfortable kicking field goals over 50 yards. It feels like if you're a kicker and you can't hit 50 yards like a chip shot, then or 40 yards like a chip shot, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like the NFL, already made it more difficult from like the post being like from here to here. They expanded. Like, how much more do you gotta like bring them in, bro? It's insane. These kickers are freaking freaks of nature, and most of them don't even play football most of their lives. They're soccer players.
That in that Chiefs game too. At one point, I think it was a Chiefs game. They had Harrison Butker lined up. One of these games had someone lined up for a 68-yard field goal.
Yeah, it was the Chiefs with Harrison Butker.
Oh, why did somebody fucking do it? They always pull them off at the last second. It's like, come on, go for a record here. Let's have some fun.
How about the one Justin Tucker kicked in Detroit where it bounced off the freaking post and then it flopped over?
Exactly. That's what I want to see.
It's crazy, dude. It is crazy.
Well, speaking of crazy, Robbie, what was not crazy?
Shut up. Why you got to brag about it?
I
Shut
said
your
what
mouth.
was
AJ
not,
Brown got hurt.
Oh, they were talking to me for a second. I was like, God
No.
damn.
I'm a freaking second round pick.
Chicago
Dude,
Bears.
Off my bench stack were freaking O'Dunes, Chase Brown, DeAndre Swift. I went with Swift, and he can't run the football to save his goddamn life.
Yeah, he's fallen down quite huge.
He fucking sucks.
Um,
Calvin Ridley. I'll put Calvin Ridley in my flex.
The Chicago Bears, Robbie, 13. Houston Texans, 19. Not a great game for either teams. Caleb Williams looked awful.
Caleb Williams put a thing out there where he told his punter he's not going to have to punt much, and through 2 weeks, the Chicago Bears have punted 12 times.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams was coming into this league expecting this to be
Easy.
USC 2.0, but I hate to tell you, buddy.
But I'll tell you what, there were a couple times where he was scrambling, making shit happen.
He has his little sprint. He has his little burst where you're like, okay, this guy definitely could be fucking elite.
Mhm.
But like every one of these first round picks or one of these quarterbacks in the first year, you need time to figure out the speed of the game. They don't really have the option of letting him watch and learn under somebody. So I guess their plan is throw him out there, and the best way to learn, I guess, is by doing, in their opinion. But I mean, I really don't have much more to say about that game, Robbie. That was an absolute snooze fest for a Sunday night football game. And the Bears 1-1, and I think after what I saw yesterday, we had some high praise for Caleb Williams coming in because he was set up fantastically. They got a great receiving core, good tight end, great running game, and to me, it's been a bit of a fail thus far. However, it's only been 2 games, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there.
Agreed. But CJ Stroud continuing to impress.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Mr. Robbie.
Oh, ma'am.
I don't know. It's my thing I'm doing today. Mr. Robbie, real quickly, I'm just gonna go into just the Sidney. I'm just gonna announce the Sidney Crosby deal, and then we can move on to either UFC or MLB if you'd like.
Well, I mean, do you want to do a quick preview of Monday Night Football tonight, or?
Oh yes. My apology. Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
Monday
By the
night.
way, we got to look at our whole picks thing here.
Yeah.
I don't think you did particularly well.
No, I'm doing horrible to start off. I'll tell you right now.
Honestly, I think you're pretty terrible. Like you're a loser.
Wrong. I got the Seahawks over the Pats -3.5. Did not happen. I had the Colts over the Packers -2.5 for 3. Did not happen. I did, however, get the Chargers over the Panthers -5.5 for my first 2 points of the year.
Well, that makes it 3-2 then. But here I go with mine. I had the Bills over the Dolphins with my 1 point, which puts me at 4. I had the Chiefs over the Bengals, but the Bengals covering the 5.5, which puts me at 7. And the Texans were 0.5 point away from making me have a clean sweep. So, Zachary, the current standings are 7-2 in favor of Murray. And what was it? We have a bet? I forget. Did we have a bet?
We haven't. We're going to do something, but we haven't decided what it's going to be yet. So that'll be something we'll have to talk about off camera here, and we'll figure something fun that we can.
Well, I'll tell you what. All the cities in Connecticut are pretty ruthless and dangerous. So I was going to say, like, we walk in our underwear in, like, a city, but I might get shot.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I might get shot. I don't know what it's like up there in Toronto, but I will get shot.
Well, Monday Night Football, Robbie. The Atlanta Falcons come in 0-1. Philadelphia Eagles coming in 1-0. Philly is a minus 250 favorite. What is the spread? It doesn't give me the
5.5.
seconds.
5.5.
5.5 points for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles roll right through this one. Ooh,
Do they
Falcons
cover
wearing the
5.5?
black jerseys.
Do they cover the 5.5?
I think they covered the 5.5.
Well, you listen here and you listen good, Zachary. I have a coworker who's been telling me all these bets are supposed to work and they haven't. So Tony Ferrucci, if you are wrong on this and the Falcons don't cover, because I put 25, I say I'm calling this the Tony Ferrucci special. I'm mentioning this on the podcast. If the Falcons do not cover the 5.5 points, Tony Ferrucci, I will never hear football advice from you ever again. You can give me all the explanations in the world.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I threw the name out there. Yeah.
Tony Ferrucci.
And
That right there,
when
folks.
I see him, I'll be like, Tony, how you doing? How you doing?
Cha.
Ciao.
That right there, folks, is our NFL recap and
What a
preview of
recap.
Monday Night
That's
Football.
An hour and 25 minutes.
And that was a howitzer of a recap. So because that took so long, I'm just going to go through this very quickly.
Wait,
Starting up,
you can't. You know why?
I know, but it's going to be legitimately 30 seconds of talking
guess
for
what?
hockey.
Do you want it or do you not want it?
Well, I guess play it now.
Come on, man.
Yes, ma'am. Chicken and ham. Not much to talk about here in hockey, but we will start off in Leafland. Max Pacioretty, ex-All-Star. Great player back in the day, but dealing with a lot of injuries. Signed to a professional trial for the Leafs. I'm assuming he will be on the opening night roster. I mean, he's definitely still has some game left in him. He'd be a great, bottom six addition. So we'll just have to see how he performs in his tryouts. But I do not mind that at all. And then Robbie, the news that we've been waiting for, at least I've been waiting for as a gigantic Sidney Crosby fan.
Okay.
Leon Draisaitl the other week signs a deal worth $14 million a year. So people kind of look, what is Crosby going to sign for, you know? One thing I'll say about Crosby, he always looks at taking team-friendly deals, Robbie, and he has done it again. This is why he has 3 Stanley Cups. He signs a 2-year deal with an average annual value of $8.7 million for his number 87. I mean, that is a bargain for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you know what makes me upset? Where was this version of Kyle Dubas when we were trying to sign fucking Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner? Where was this guy that held off and didn't sign him to these monster contracts? Now he's got a set of balls when he's in Pittsburgh with one of the greatest fucking players of all time. But I'm happy to see Crosby returning back. To me, it would look just very strange for him to be in any other jersey besides the Pittsburgh Penguins uniform, and he is now under contract to 2027. And that, I mean, that could be the end of Sidney Crosby after 2027, Robbie. So
I was just going to ask you that.
it's extremely sad to hear and see, but obviously we're talking about a guy that's, I mean, no matter which, I always make the joke that he's the greatest of all time. Obviously, Wayne Gretzky's the greatest hockey player of all time, but if you're going to look me dead in the eyes and tell me Sidney Crosby is not top 5, in my opinion, top 3, I think he's the second greatest player of all time, then you absolutely know nothing about hockey. This guy is an absolute legend, and you can't say a bad thing about the guy.
Do you think the Penguins could make a playoff run heading into next season? You know, we talked about it
No.
last. They just missed, but you think that time is done, Pittsburgh?
They're getting old, man. Their goaltending is pretty shit. Their defense is a little bit weak. They got big names on defense, but again, guys are getting up there in age. And I just look at the Metropolitan Division now. You got the Rangers got better, or the Rangers are good. Carolina's going to be shittier than last year, but they're still going to be good. The Devils are going to be good. The Islanders are feisty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good teams in that Metro, and I feel like it's going to be the Penguins and Capitals are going to be closer to the bottom than the top. That's for sure. It really is the end of an era, Robbie. When I know you probably weren't a massive hockey fan back in like those Alexander Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby playoff series. Those were they had a game 7, Robbie, where both of them got a hat trick in game 7 against each other. Ovechkin got a hat trick for the Caps, Crosby got a hat trick for the Pens, and the Penguins ended up taking them down. They were some of the greatest series I've ever seen in my life, and it is a tough pill to swallow to know that I will never see him again.
Jesus.
Oh, Bob. Jesus fucking Christ.
You know what? No. I'm putting that up there. I second the notion.
Okay.
They took him away from Hartford.
My second notion. But Robbie, that's all I got for NBA or NHL, to be honest with you.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, Zachary, but the venue in Hartford is going under a massive renovation.
Maybe they're trying to get an NHL ready.
I think a lot of it has to do too with Bad Bunny calling them out because he almost had to cancel the concert because everything was outdated.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, Robbie. From what I've heard, that is one of the absolute dump of arenas. But
dude, it is not comfortable. Steve and I went to a playoff game for the Wolfpack. Bro, I was literally sitting, and it's not because both him and I were big. Like I've sat in plenty of places as the size I was, and I was sitting like this.
yeah, it's exactly what they just did at TD Garden too.
Yeah.
I think it was last year or 2 years ago. They added a bunch more seats at TD Garden, but they made every single seat a lot smaller. And I've been to TD Garden before. The seats were small 8 years ago when I went.
Imagine trying to go to Fenway. Fenway seats are freaking small because they're so original.
Dun, dun, dun. But Robbie, what would you like to get into next year, my friend? We got a little bit of MLB, a UFC recap.
UFC, because I know that's going to be quick.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to go right into it. I was at a cottage. I was on some mushrooms, and that was fucking crazy to watch that on TV. The Sphere was awesome. The card,
The Spear was awesome.
the first three fights were pretty fucking amazing. I mean, they were battle royales. The co-main and the main event were horrific. Just two wrestling matches. We'll get it. You want to just get right into the main event because that's kind of the only fight that really matters. Unless you want to get in the co-main event too.
No, I don't. I want to talk about what Merab did.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Herb Dean was absolutely correct. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, dude. There was no reason to be kissing. Have some like, I know you're dominating the guy, but like, did you ever see Khabib kissing on Conor McGregor? No. You talk smack. You don't need to kiss him on his goddamn back. It's not embarrassing for Sean O'Malley. It's more so embarrassing for Merab. I thought that was absolutely disgraceful and and I'll tell you what, there will be a second fight, and I'm telling you right now, Zachary, after watching that, I will 1,000% take Sean O'Malley in round 2. After that, it's already bad enough that like he got dominated like that. We know what Sean O'Malley is. Sean O'Malley is a striker with very little grappling skills, and that's what's got him all his victories was his striking. Sean O'Malley's got to learn how to grapple, and if he learns how to just be acceptable, there is a chance he could beat Merab.
It's the problem with him is he has no idea how to fight off of his back. The second anyone gets him down where he's laying on his back on the canvas, he's fucking done. You can sit on him for 5 minutes of that round, hold him down, you're going to win on points every time. What Merab did to that guy, though, Robbie, was beat the absolute piss out of him for 25 minutes. I mean, I've never seen O'Malley, obviously, we're talking about a guy that potentially could be one of the greats when he ends off his career. But Merab, I mean, that was... And the crazy thing, too, if you're O'Malley, you had really one thing to train for and get ready. Like, Merab's not going to stand there and fucking bang with you. All he was going to try to do was take you down and do exactly what he did. If they ever do fight again, which I think they will, I agree with you there, O'Malley's camp has to be 6% striking, 94% grappling, jiu-jitsu. He needs to better himself on the ground because I don't know if you're going to beat Merab unless you do. He's just going to take you down. You could catch him with that one lucky strike, and that's another thing, too. O'Malley was not throwing anything.
No.
Anything.
No.
He did not look good.
No.
Obviously not the last we're going to see of O'Malley. I hope it's not the last we see of the UFC at the Sphere because that was fucking pretty awesome.
It is. It's
going to be the last? Is that because...
Now I don't know if you heard me because I had a lag. Yes. There's a major lag going on right now, but I caught everything. Yeah. You figure the guy that's charging you $70 for a freaking pay-per-view wouldn't be so goddamn cheap, right? Oh, too expensive. It costs $50. Dude, you're charging us a freaking fortune to watch the pay-per-views, and the fighters are barely getting paid anything. Get the hell out of here.
Said the production for that was $20 million just for the light. That's a lot of fucking money. He made a good point, though.
Making freaking billions of dollars every freaking year.
I know, but Robbie, look at it this way. If you're Dana White,
their fighters anything, dude.
Hold on. Look at it this way. If you're Dana White, you spend $20 million on production at the Sphere, or you spend $1 million on production at fucking.
I think it should be a once a year
It's
occurrence.
a
I'm not saying-
business he's running.
but it should be a once a year occurrence. I'm not saying they need to do every fight there, but once a year would be perfect.
I bet you that's not going to be the last time. It'll be the last time for a little bit, but they'll go back.
There's something that we also, we put UFC 306 recap or 305, whatever the hell it was. But Zach, a couple things to be noted. It's official. November 16th, John Jones for Stipe Miocic, which will probably be Stipe's last fight. And who knows, it could be John Jones' last fight as well, for all we know. It will be happening in New York. Zach, I tell you right now, last time John Jones fought in New York, I said I'm 100% going to go. I don't care what it costs, but when it costs $700 to sit all the way top, I said no thank you. It's probably going to be the same, if not more.
It's probably going to be a lot more money because I do think this is going to be both their last fights. And I'm going to say it.
Nothing too. Why does everybody think that John Jones has to fight Tom Aspinall?
Because he does.
No, he doesn't. He dominated the sport for all these freaking years.
Exactly. And then you're going to let him go out. To me, he's been ducking Tom Aspinall ever since he became a heavyweight.
Okay.
Why would you want to fight a 43-year-old Stipe Miocic? Who even wants to see that?
But Floyd ducked Manny Pacquiao for all those years.
Exactly. And Floyd's a fucking pussy.
But he's a great freaking fighter. He's one of the
exactly.
Great.
Because he picks and chooses battles.
He's my boxing.
No, he's not a go to boxing. He's
yes,
he's the greatest ducker and defender in boxing.
He's the greatest boxer of all time. Undefeated, never lost.
Agree to disagree.
Undefeated, never lost.
Also fought Canelo when he was 19 years old, never touched him again. Fought Manny Pacquiao after ducking him for 10 years.
Who cares?
In his late 30s.
Did he
Floyd
win?
Mayweather is a bitch.
Did he win?
He won, but he's still a fucking pussy.
Greatest of all time.
Congratulations. I disagree with you. Robbie, what do you say? It's 8:06. The game starts in 10 minutes.
Shut the fuck up. We're not done yet. One more thing.
I'm trying to watch some football soon.
I am too, but we have a big show. This is just what happens when we have a big stack show. It is what it is. The next thing we got to mention, we cannot ignore this.
Oh, yes.
Just as I figured it was going to happen, as it got postponed twice.
No McGregor.
No McGregor and no Michael Chandler. And Zach, I don't know if Plouf's here. I doubt he is, but all the McGregor fanboys are going to sound like a bunch of morons, but this is Conor McGregor's fault once again. Listen, we know Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler will fight whoever, but Michael Chandler is also up there in age. He can't sit around and wait. He doesn't have the money.
He's already waited long enough.
So I'm glad you're on Team Chandler's side because this is absolutely ridiculous. Michael Chandler is going to fight Charles Oliveira again and try to make a rebound to fight for the welterweight championship of the world. Zach, I'm so tired of Conor McGregor's antics. I cannot stand Conor McGregor. Did he make the UFC to what it is today? Yes, I absolutely agree. But what he did to Michael Chandler was so unfair and wrong. And Michael Chandler did the call out the correct way. Michael Chandler waited years, not months, years. And McGregor, whether it's, not for nothing, dude, that injury that that made him back out, Zach, the Conor McGregor we know would have never backed out of that. And honestly, I think Michael Chandler's right. There's a drug problem with Conor McGregor, 100%.
Oh, dude, the guy's on cocaine. I think
he's doing
16 hours of the day. Steroids are guaranteed, but if you see him doing interviews, he's fucking. Let me tell you something.
What the hell was that?
I know what people look like on cocaine. Oh.
But, Conor McGregor is going to take his jabs and his shots at Michael Chandler because Conor McGregor's a bitch. But
I actually like this fight better, Chandler and Charles Oliveira, to be honest with you. I at this point, I don't think we're ever going to
see Michael Chandler beat the crap out of Conor McGregor. Michael Chandler was going to kill Conor McGregor, bro.
Conor McGregor hasn't fought in fucking...
I know, and he hasn't fought since Poirier.
And you got to know, I mean, I think Chandler's probably in the gym training a lot more right now than McGregor. Mm-hmm. McGregor's made hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, for me, it's why even go back and fight. Obviously, you do it because you love the game, but
clearly not.
I don't think we're going to see him fight again, to be honest with you.
No, he's done. He's done. I mean, why would you try to take up on that when the guy is blown off? Conor had to know deep down inside, Zach. He had to have known Michael Chandler was going to beat him. No doubt in my mind, Michael Chandler was going to beat him, bro.
He's probably like, he's like, I'm not getting into that. Well, I can't even do an Irish guy right now.
No, you really can't. That was actually pretty disgustingly terrible. All right, let's go with MLB, and then we'll get out of here before Monday Night Football. I know you want to watch a game. I want to watch a game too.
All right, Robbie, I got the notes right here. Starting off, bad news again for the Dodgers. Their ace, Tyler Glasnow, is now out for the year after suffering a setback in his rehab for his sprained elbow. That is a tough pill to swallow for the Dodgers, Robbie. I mean, they already are very deep in the pitching category, so I don't think this is going to be the end-all, be-all for them.
No,
but
it's a big
it's not a guy you want to lose, especially with a team that could win the World Series this year. If everyone's able to stay healthy and all the pieces are able to contribute,
Not anymore.
that's a big one.
I'm telling you right now, if you have Tyler Glasnow pitching, you're not winning the World Series. I mean, Clayton Kershaw, we know what his record is in the postseason. Walker Buehler is not nearly what Walker Buehler is supposed to be. Zach, it's over for the Dodgers. In my mind, they are not winning the World Series. What Ohtani's doing is incredible. He's probably going to get 50 for 50. That's great, but they're not winning the World Series without Tyler Glasnow on the mound, bro.
I mean, I'm not going to say they're not going to, but I think this is going to throw a bit of a wrench in the plans for them, Robbie.
Like right now with that loss, I don't think they're better than the Diamondbacks, even though the Diamondbacks are 5 games out. I don't think they're better than the Phillies. I don't think they're better than the Yankees, and I don't think they're better than Baltimore.
Definitely not better than the Jays.
You know, Zach, you guys are so screwed for years to come again.
Fuck off. I don't want to hear about this.
Because there's no one in your prospect system like there was.
I know we don't have anyone in our prospect pool. We're a bunch of pathetic fucking losers.
We didn't talk about this, so why don't we talk about this? Against the New York Mets, the Toronto Blue Jays had a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. They were winning 2-0. Francisco Lindor hits a home run to break up the no-hitter, and then the Mets proceed to score. Oh, actually, the Blue Jays are up 1-0 because they got to run the bottom of the ninth.
Yes, and then Chad Green came in and gave up fucking 4 runs or 3 runs in 3 pitches. Now, Robbie, I want to say this. I genuinely feel bad for this Bowden Francis fella. The guy's last 4 starts, he's brought 2 no-hitters into the 9th inning and has lost both of them. He won the 1 game at least, but lost both no-hitters in the 9th. At some point, this guy's actually an exciting one. This guy's actually an exciting one to have in our pool, though, because, I mean, if you have fucking 2 no-hitters in 4 games or going into the 9 with no-hitters, obviously there's some skill there. So maybe this Bowden Francis guy is going to be a future ace for us. But the Jays suck. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We suck. It's just a classic Toronto thing. All Toronto teams fucking suck. And I've just dealt with this for 28 years. And guess what, motherfuckers? I'm going to have to deal with this for 28 more years unless I fucking one day decide enough is enough and I fucking end it.
What do you mean end it?
I mean, fucking.
If you or a loved one that you know needs help, call the 1-800-SUICIDE hotline, please. Zach, I'm concerned. Do I need to call this hotline for you?
You might have to.
Zach, I will literally call this hotline
No,
right
I'm
now.
joking. Obviously, I'm not going to kill myself here, folks. But Toronto sports teams are abysmal. And speaking of Francisco Lindor, Robbie, he ended up leaving Sunday's game with some back discomfort, and he would have some tests done today. So I don't know if there was any sort of update on that, but I don't believe there was. So
There was. Hold on. Okay, SNY put Francisco Lindor's MRI results are a sigh of relief for the Mets, so it's nothing crazy, but the rest of the team must pick up the slack in his stead. So with that saying, I mean, they're basically saying that Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos, they got to step up in Lindor's absence.
yeah, and the Mets are a team that are really battling right now. So
I'm MVP, Zach. I mean, the award is clearly going to Shohei Ohtani, correct?
Yes, I think it's already locked out that it will be Shohei and Aaron Judge.
When you look at their 2 teams, Zachary, when you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers and you look at the Mets, which player is more valuable to their team right now?
Shohei Ohtani.
Incorrect. Because the Dodgers still have Freddie Freeman. They still have Mookie Betts. They still have Will Smith. The New York Mets, if Francisco Lindor isn't doing what he's doing, they're not even in contention for the wild card. Pete Alonso has been terrible. Brandon Nimmo has not been good. Alvarez has been terrible with an IL stint. Starling Marte has been bad. Mark Vientos has been a surprise. Outside of that, the fact that Lindor didn't make the All-Star team this year, insane. This guy has been more valuable to the Mets than Shohei Ohtani is to the Dodgers. And Shohei, I'm not saying doesn't deserve to win the MVP. He does. But if we're talking value to the franchises this year, Lindor has been more valuable than Shohei Ohtani.
Well, I mean, I guess if you put it in that way, yes. But who has been the better player overall is Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. I agree.
And speaking of the New York Mets, Robbie, they are actually tied for the final wildcard spot with the Atlanta Braves.
Bro.
Starting tomorrow, they have an epic three-game series.
No. I specifically put next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Starting a week from tomorrow, rather. They they are going to be in a 3-game series against the Braves, which we're getting to that point of the season, Robbie. This could be the series to decide this final wild card spot.
Who's going to decide goes to wild card is correct.
So, and I think the New York Mets are going to be the team to overtake this Atlanta Braves team.
If Lindor wasn't hurt, I'd sit here confidently say the Mets, but they got to step up this week. Zach, the season ends.
But you said that the that injury, it wasn't serious, right? That's what you just said.
Right, but I mean, he's not going to play their next game, I don't think. He might not play the game after that. I mean, let me tell you something. If you miss Lindor for 2 or 3 games, let me tell you something. If you're the Mets, you say, okay, we got to do what's best for the organization and the team for a long run. Pete, you wanted the same money as Aaron Judge? You show us these next couple games. Nimmo, we gave you $20 million a year. You show us why you deserve all that money. Like, that's what they have to do, Zach. You can't risk jeopardizing the rest of the season off of 2 or 3 games. You can't. If this was the same situation with the Yankees, with Judge, I'd say, you know what? Soto, you're here. You want all that money? Show us. Stanton, why are you worth all that money? Why did we trade for you? Show us. The Mets have to step up in Lindor's absence, and it has to be someone who's going to be the guy to step up. And if they don't step up, and I'm more specifically calling out Pete Alonso, you think you're worth $40 million? You think you're worth Aaron Judge money? If I'm the Mets, good riddance. Goodbye.
Yeah, you better wake the fuck up and smell the roses, pal.
Yeah.
All right, Robbie, a couple more things on our list here. Big return on the mound Friday for the Texas Rangers. Jacob deGrom is back. I didn't even catch the game. I don't know how he did. I don't know how he looked.
I don't know what the line is neither. I just want to say this. Why bother?
Yeah, the team's done. I mean, it's
done. Why bother? Because then what happens? A potential another injury? Like, why even bother? Like, if they're contending, okay, I get. Like, are they mathematically eliminated right now? No, they're not. But
they're. I mean,
you're done.
Yeah.
There's no reason to throw deGrom out there. You save it all for next season. There's no purpose for him to get these reps in when they don't matter when the season's over. You wait until next year. I thought it was an absolute retarded move by the Texas Rangers.
Retarded indeed. Robbie, one last thing here to talk about here, and it revolves around your New York Yankees.
It always does. I hate to do it, but if we're not talking baseball without the Yankees, are we talking baseball?
You got that right here. Alex Cora accuses Gerrit Cole of intentionally hitting Rafael Devers in the first inning and retaliates by trying to hit Judge in the 6th inning by throwing behind him and at his head. And then you wrote here, apparently the air has been cleared. So, Robbie, I would like to get your opinion on this here.
You know, when you throw behind someone's back, Zachary, you're kind of getting your point across, okay? And Devers was hogging the plate, and the pitch that Gerrit Cole threw wasn't like when you're intentionally hitting someone, you're throwing a fastball. Gerrit Cole threw a cutter, it lost him. But what made, and this is where I will stand up for the Red Sox here, Zachary. In the second at bat, Gerrit Cole goes like this. There's no, and you know what, too, Zach? I'm very disappointed in Gerrit Cole for doing that. I get it. Rafael Devers has beaten the crap out of Gerrit Cole. Don't get me wrong, but dude, the Yankees are paying you over $30 million to not show any fear to any batter at any given time. And when he did that, the Red Sox just teed off Gerrit Cole. He gave up 7 runs. The Yankees lose 7-1.
Baseball karma.
It is karma. Gerrit Cole's like, there was an at-bat last year, 2 years ago, when the noise started to pick up about Devers being like Cole's daddy. Gerrit Cole threw a pitch up and in to start the at-bat. All right, let's do it. Strikes him out. If you're that scared of Rafael Devers, if you're Garrett Cole, then pitch around him, dude. There's no reason to throw up 4 fingers like that and intentionally walk him. That is absolutely ridiculous. Now, Dad puts here, third time he's given up 7 runs in a game this year. Let me tell you something. I alluded to it not too long ago. Garrett Cole is not going to be the Garrett Cole of old. And the reason why, he came back late with the UCL injury. Okay? It takes a while. Garrett Cole hasn't been the best pitcher for the Yankees this year. It's been arguably Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, which is not good. The air was cleared, Zachary, when Sunday, after Saturday's game, Sunday, Aaron Boone, Alex Cora, and Aaron Judge got together before the game, and Cora was honest about it, and Judge said, it's part of the game. It is what it is. These things happen. We're ready to go play some baseball today.
I think it's the best way you could handle that situation. Just fucking... That way, I mean, if you don't do that situation, maybe you have another opportunity where Aaron Judge gets injured. Maybe this one doesn't go behind him. Maybe it smokes him in the fucking temple this time. And I think it's better just to let bygones be bygones and squash it.
Late into the season, I completely agree. But if we're talking July or August, whoever the next starter is, you're hitting Devers in the freaking skull. And then whoever starts for the Red Sox, you're hitting Judge in the skull. That's old school baseball, baby.
Old school baseball.
Well, Zach, the Yankees have a 3-game lead right now against Baltimore. And what I tell you back in March, do you remember what I said back in March?
That you guys are going to take over this division?
If the New York Yankees are healthy, they're winning the World Series. I stayed with it, and I'm sticking to it to this day. And Zachary, Ian Hamilton is back. Clark Schmidt is back. Everyone for the Yankees that was injured is back. We are a couple of weeks away from MLB postseason. I know NFL has been excited, but folks, we're a couple weeks from MLB postseason baseball. And Zachary, that is one of the best times of the year. I'm going to give you a quick update with the wild card right now. The wild card in terms of the American League, Baltimore has the top slot. Minnesota has the last slot. They are up 2.5 games on both the Mariners and the Tigers, who do have a chance to make it in there. Seattle has won 3 in a row. There is a chance. In the National League, the Braves and the Mets are tied for the last slot, with Chicago 5 games out. So it's going to be a battle between the Braves and the Mets for the last slot. Arizona in second, and San Diego leads the way.
Very, very, we're going to have some nice close matchups here to end off this season. And like Robert said, MLB playoffs, we're a couple weeks away from that. We're a couple weeks away from the preseason starting in hockey and basketball. Guys, this is when the sports equinoxes start to happen, folks. We're going to have some sports equinoxes coming soon. I miss those days where you get NHL, NBA, NFL, and fucking MLB all in the same day. And we are less than 3 weeks away from this, Robbie.
Indeed, we are. Troy Aikman, I talked to Kirk, and he said he's not 100%, but he feels 100% in the pocket. Okay, that's just freaking Tony's going to cost me money. There's no chance the freaking Falcons cover that 5.5.
Okay, before we get off this, can we talk about? Did you see the Tony Romo clip of him when he was commentating the Chiefs-Bengals game?
Which one?
There was a play where Mahomes went to throw it to somebody, and he threw it at the floor by accident, and Romo goes, that is just such a heads-up smart play there by Patrick Mahomes. He meant to throw that at the floor. Romo, you know what I think? Sorry, I'm kind of rambling now. But you know what I think why this is going to help Brady? Because let's be honest here, Robbie. Brady's had a bit of a tough start in the broadcasting career. But I think it's going to be the complete opposite effect of what happened with Tony Romo. Because when Tony Romo first came in, everyone just had his fucking cock in their hand.
He was good when he first came in, though. He was good when he first came in.
And now look at him now. Everyone, all they talk about is how shit he is at this. Yeah. Where I feel like it's going to be the complete opposite for Brady. People are talking about how he's bad at this right now. Give him a year, whatever it takes. They're going to be like, holy fuck, this guy's really come into his own here.
You know, I liked what Brady did in the Cowboys game was CeeDee Lamb escaped that tackle and he ran for the touchdown. Brady was like, oh, like reacting naturally to it. Like that was pretty freaking nasty where like you're supposed to stay silent. Nah, dude, let them react the way they do.
That's what we want to hear. A human reaction.
All right, Zach. Well, folks.
2 hours. It's been a good one tonight.
This is why we're going to move to Tuesdays because we are missing. I'm going to definitely miss a lot of the football game for sure because I got to edit this whole goddamn thing. But it was worth every freaking second. Des, thank you for the follow, bro. Appreciate you dropping in here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for another episode of the Sports Cave. Zach, you have no softball on Thursday?
No softball. We are officially eliminated. Hockey season starts for me this Wednesday, folks. So wish me luck.
All right. So we are going to be back here for you live this Thursday, 6:30. right before Thursday Night Football. And Zach, I'll tell you right now, it's my fucking team. So we are done before the freaking football game starts. You understand me?
10-4.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another fantastic episode of Sports Cave. Zachary, would you do me a favor and just take us on out of here?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go watch some Monday Night Football. Thank you very much for tuning into another Monday edition of the Sports Cave. And there's only one thing left to say. Stay sexy, Sports Cave.